I lean my head against the window and watch the skyscrapers transform into greenery while I sway to the beat of the train. Today is my first day of living in a new rural town. I work as an office worker in research, and I am 35 years old. I work in the development research division of a pharmaceutical corporation. We are all being transferred because our department is transferring to a branch in the country. I'm relocating to the country for that reason. This is my first time living in the country. I was born and raised in the city. Because I'm so accustomed to the comforts of city life, I'm not thrilled at all, but rather depressed by the prospect of the annoyances that lie ahead. I came to this town with these emotions. After a few months, I'm finally adjusting to the commute to the new lab. This is a remote village, as one might assume, with just a massive facility nearby. Compared to the tiny one in our city headquarters, this one is more convenient. It's still inconvenient to live here. There isn't a convenience store close by for a quick snack, and the closest supermarket is 30 minutes away if I run out of household supplies. I must admit that I'm getting a little tired of this way of life. This weariness has been both physical and mental lately. The recent departure of our department head is the cause, not simply this small town. Hey Tyson, you're staying late today again, John. Today is unavoidable. I'm busy entertaining customers. I have to turn in a report to headquarters by tomorrow. You understand. However, you must review that report before sending it. Leave it alone. Keeping customers entertained is extremely crucial. Interesting. Recently, you've been going out to bars with locals. Have you said anything? What? Are you unaware of the consequences of disobeying me in this town? Yes, Tyson has become very authoritarian since the boss's supervision has decreased. He was amazingly calm since coming here. Back at headquarters, he wasn't very good, but he wasn't dangerous. Does a person's actual nature emerge as their surroundings change? Nonsensical directives and unreasonable reprimands. All of us, even my seniors, juniors, and coworkers, were forced to comply in silence. I sigh. I'm exhausted today as well. I visited a small, privately owned business before making my way home after walking down a long, lonely road. Fields line both sides, and every wind carries the scent of the land. Since there isn't a convenience store close by for a late-night snack, I now make it a point to stop by the store every day after work. All luck. Hi. A woman who is a little older smiles and says, "Welcome, John. Working hard today again?" She tosses me a bag and asks, "You really worked hard, don't you?" Before I take it, I always make sure to thank her. "Thank you. Come again soon." The cicadas buzzed, and a breeze rustled through. The sun had tilted further since early beer, beginning to darken the sky. It's a good 30-minute walk home, so I opened one of the beers I just bought. When opening the can, it made a satisfying sound. Then I sighed and took a gulp. Ah, that's good. Lately, I've been thinking a lot. I enjoy my daily research, but I wonder if it's worth coming to such a remote rural area for it. Tyson spends his days bar hopping with locals and often comes in hungover, useless at work. While covering for Tyson and enduring his unreasonable anger, I spend my days solely focused on research. On my days off, I just lie around fiddling with my phone, not going anywhere in this lonely rural town. Without a girlfriend or friends, there's too little to do alone. Is this really how my life should be at 35? Such concerns have risen. The next day, feeling well rested for the first time in a while, I woke up refreshed and grabbed my phone. At that moment, I froze. It was already 10:00 a.m. Oh no, I overslept. Panic set in, and I quickly called the lab where my colleague Richard answered. "Hello, it's John. Sorry I overslept. Is Tyson there?" "Hey, good morning." "No, Tyson's not coming today. Sounds like he's hungover." "Got it. Sorry, I'm on my way now. Just leave it. It's cool. Why don't you take the day off? You've been looking down lately. Probably tired. Take a break today. I've got your work covered. Taking my colleague's advice, I decided to skip work for the day. When was the last time I skipped work? But what to do now? I wasn't even sleepy anymore. As I opened the curtains, thinking this through, the sunlit mountains came into view. Huh. The mountains suddenly inspired me. I quickly packed a towel and water in my backpack and set out for a hike. This is the first time I'm doing something like this since I came here. The air tastes good. Breathing deeply in, the greenery feels incredibly refreshing. I felt as if my constant complaints and gloominess were being replaced by the clean air. With a youthful spirit, I continued walking, aiming to go as far as I could. Rustling grass, crunching soil. Amid these sounds, I heard something like a fall. What was that? Rushing toward the sound, I found a woman in a tattered state, huddled on the ground. My shout echoed in response to the scene. Are you okay? Are you alive? Can you get up? I kept calling out desperately. Responding to my voice, the woman slowly opened her eyes. Oh, you're awake. When the woman noticed me, she seemed flustered and whispered in a weak voice, I'm okay. The woman forcefully sat up, said ah in a soft voice, and held her ankle with her hand. Does your ankle hurt? Just a moment, please. I took out a first aid kit from my backpack, got out some ointment and bandages. I'll do some first aid. I applied the ointment to her ankle, used a nearby twig as a splint, and wrapped it with a bandage. There, that should do for now. Thank you so much. I was surprised when I heard a noise, and then saw you sliding down from above and curling up here. I slipped on the path up there, and before I knew it, I had slid down here. That was close. She kept thanking me over and over, grateful that I happened to pass by. Thank you so much. My name is Maria. I'm John. If you don't mind, I can take you to the hospital. I could possibly ask you to do that. I can walk by myself. Ouch. See, you're still in pain. You can't walk like that. Don't force yourself, and don't mind if I smell a bit sweaty. As I said this, I squatted down to let her climb on my back. Maria hesitantly got on. I can't believe you're doing all this for me. I'm so sorry. No worries. Carrying her on my back, supporting the backpack with my stomach, we slowly descended the mountain, chatting about various things. Maria had also moved from the city, and today she had taken a day off before starting a new job to visit this mountain. We especially hit it off, talking about the differences between city and rural life. Eventually, our conversation shifted to more personal topics. Do you work at that big research lab? Yes, I do, she looked surprised. I moved here after our department transferred from the headquarters. Is that so? After thinking for a bit, she asked me another question. How was your job? Well, I've gotten used to the new workplace, but actually, my boss, his personality has changed lately, and it's been tough. Haha. I ended up telling Maria about how my boss had changed since moving here, how he started acting superior, as if he were the top dog, looking down on his subordinates, not doing any work, and using company money to go bar hopping with locals under the guise of business entertainment. It had been a while since I talked to someone outside of work, so I accidentally shared more than I intended. Maria listened quietly and said, That sounds tough. I've been feeling down lately, but coming to the mountain today made me feel refreshed. It's like I can now focus on working together with everyone. Thank you for listening. After our talk, I carried her down the mountain in silence and took her to a small hospital at the foot of the mountain. She assured me she could take a taxi home, so I left. I thought waiting might take care of her, but by the time I realized it, it was already evening. It had been a while since I felt this uplifted in the evening. Thinking of Maria's smile made me feel refreshed on my way home. In the following weeks, life continued as usual, with my work, looking after my juniors, and covering for Tyson. I was getting used to life here, and the warmth of the small rural community grew on me. The kindness in a rural town is something you don't often find in the city. Then, one day, I got a sudden call from headquarters. Had they found out I skipped work to go hiking? Feeling anxious about possibly being fired, I headed to the city. Seeing the towering skyscrapers after a long time made my heart flutter. When I lived there, I never noticed, but the air felt like it was mixed with various things, making my nose feel stuck. With my heartbeat racing in fear, I calmed myself as I visited the CEO's office at the headquarters. "Excuse me," as I entered, the CEO greeted me with a smile. "Hey, long time no see, John. Have you lost some weight?" Seeing the CEO as usual confused me. I had been expecting to be fired, so it felt unexpected. The CEO engaged in some small talk for a while, and I went along with it. The main topic didn't seem to come up. What was this meeting about after all? Just as I was wondering, there was a knock on the door. "Come in," the CEO responded, and the door swung open energetically. To my surprise, the woman who entered was Maria, the one who had injured her foot on the mountain. "Wait, aren't you the person from that time? Why are you here?" Surprised, I stared at her as she blushed and shyly said, "I'm sorry about the other day." The CEO, addressing Maria, urged her, "Come here," while I stood there with a puzzled look. Maria cleared her throat, just like the CEO, and began to speak. "Thank you for helping me that day. My injury has completely healed, thanks to you. I apologize for the late introduction, but I'm Maria, the CEO's daughter." "CEO's daughter? Why were you in that town?" "So, you hadn't heard that confirms what I said was true." "That's right." Lost in their conversation, I struggled to follow. "Tyson is no good anymore. There's no information sharing at all." "Indeed," she added. Excuse me." Unable to hold back, I interrupted. Maria smiled at me. "Actually, I was supposed to join the development research department in that town, but I injured my foot and had to return home for recovery. I had told Tyson to convey this to everyone, including you, but it seems no one was informed." "Guess I heard nothing about it," I said. "I brought up the need for reform to the CEO right after hearing a department situation from you. That's what I wanted to hear from you." The CEO added, "Is that so? But why me?" "Because your attitude towards work is admirable. Really, what you shared while carrying me mirrored what my mother used to say." The CEO nodded at me. Maria's words, "cherish unity," as she said, are similar to my late wife's philosophy. She passed away 25 years ago from an illness. It was the first time I felt like my heart was torn out. Since then, I've immersed myself in work, maybe to recover. I've been working to reduce the number of families experiencing what my daughter and I went through, helping increase lives saved by medicine. So, our company's foundation is built on my wife's words. Cherish unity. The people waiting for our medicine are not strangers. They share our fate. I see. Which brings me to this. I want you to take over as head of the development research department. Hearing this, I felt a shock as if struck by lightning. Me? I'm honored. But why? I was so flustered that I repeated the same question and then, embarrassedly, shut my mouth. The development research department is the heart of our company. I want someone who sees helping people as natural and shares my vision to lead it. The CEO smiled warmly, a soft expression I felt I was seeing for the first time. I felt a surge of energy welling up inside me and simply bowed my head. "I'll help too. Let's work together. See you later. Then, we'll take care of the formal procedures another day." As I was about to leave the room, saying thank you in response to the CEO's words, I heard a clearing of the throat. The CEO, as a father, said, "Thank you for helping my daughter. I'm truly grateful. Things will get busy, but when you have time, I'd like to properly thank you." The CEO bowed slowly. "Don't do that. Please raise your head." I only did what anyone would do as a person. Upon hearing my words, the CEO slowly raised his head, looked into my eyes, and said, "Thank you again." I bowed to the CEO and left his office with Maria. Well, I never imagined it would turn out like this. I just gazed out at the view of the buildings turning into greenery. I was reminded of the day I moved, but unlike that day, Maria was now beside me, and I had an important mission of reform ahead. It's going to be busy, but at least it's goodbye to those days of aimlessly following a superior. I felt a passion surging inside me, warming me up. It's been a while since I've felt this way, perhaps since I was a new employee. I want to help people. That's why I chose this job and this company, drawn by the CEO's character. I had always wondered if it was the right choice, but now I realize it's not about validating that choice, but about making it right. I'll continue to devote myself to research for others. The future surely looks bright. Squinting at the dazzling sunset for a moment, the rural town came into view. I'm looking forward to the future. Upon hearing Maria's words, I slowly nodded in agreement.